Hello, my name is MooingCat and welcome to the beta server where we finally have the Guild Expedition update. Guild Expedition level 5 is finally coming out. So in this video I will be going through the announcement. I will be looking at all the new building, how the new level will work, fortifications and so on. The Guild Expedition itself will start tomorrow. So tomorrow or in one of the upcoming days I will be making a follow-up video where you can see me actually play the new level. But I thought it was worth making a video already because we do have a lot of interesting information already in this announcement on the beta server. So without further ado, let's get into it and let's read all about the new Guild Expedition. So the new level, as you probably know if you have been following my videos, you will be using your city defense when you are fighting against the enemy units. So it seems like the fights will be exactly the same, but instead of using your attack boosts, you will be using your city defense boosts, which is really interesting. I am sure most of you have very low, or at least relatively low, defense boosts compared to your attacking boosts. So yeah, that'll definitely be interesting to see. Now you can still negotiate, so if you're not able to fight, if you don't have high enough city defense boosts, which I think will probably be quite a common thing for a lot of players, you can still negotiate. So yeah, that's at least an option. Now with this new level, we have 16 new encounters, which means that now, in order to complete all or get the maximum percentage in the championship, where you fight against the other guilds, you have to complete 80 out of 64 encounters, which suggests that the 4th level is no longer quote-unquote special. So now you will probably go up to 125% here instead of 133. So to get to 100%, you have to complete Guild Expedition level 4, and then you get some bonus points if you go for the final level as well. All right, so to help you out with the fighting and negotiating, we have these fortifications. Now, these function quite similar to the buildings in Guild Battlegrounds, except you use your personal goods to place them. So these are personal, nothing guild related. And you can build at least one of these, in some encounters multiples of these in each encounter. Now we have seven different fortifications. We have these 4 first ones here, which are related to attacking, and these last 3, which are related to negotiating. So let's go through them. Eagle Warrior Temple here will give you an increased attack boost for your defending army, so your city defense, which are the ones you will be using. The Jaguar Warrior here will give you an increased defense for your defending army, and then the Great Warrior Temple here will give you both of these. Then we have the Temple of Infiltration, which will work exactly like infiltrating on the continent map, where the enemy units will have 1 hit point less, so that might be quite helpful. The first for negotiating here reduces the cost of negotiating, so each time you pay some goods to negotiate, each option costs slightly less. We have reducing the possible negotiation options by 1, and the last one, similar, it removes the special resources from the negotiations if you are in the Arctic future or higher. Now, out of all of these, I think that the last 2 will probably be the most useful, because this, for example, even if you don't care about using special units in Guild Expedition, if you're able to remove that option, you will have 1 option fewer to choose from, which means you have a higher chance of succeeding in the negotiation. Same one with this, reducing the options, you have a higher chance of winning. Reducing the cost of negotiating, this one, it will depend on how much it costs to build the fortification. If it costs more to build the fortification, then it's probably not worth the building. Infiltrating the opposing army, I could see this being helpful in some cases. That will of course depend on the balancing, which we don't know at the moment. But if the attack boosts of the enemy are really high, this might be helpful. And then these, that gives you attack, defense, or attack and defense for your defending army, which is the one you're using. This one, it will all come down to how much they give, and if they give enough to be helpful for your actual fight. Because again, you will be using your city defense, so you probably don't have a lot, so these might be useful for there. But that will all depend on the balancing, which we will see tomorrow, but then I also expect to see updates of the balancing moving forward. So that's the mechanic changes, and I'm definitely looking forward to see how it actually plays out. Now let's move on to the rewards. You have seen all of these before in my spoiler, in my beta recaps, but now we finally have some numbers as well, and they are quite insane. So the first one here is the Forgotten Temple. It is 3x4, and it is a limited building. It will last for 28 days though, so quite long. And as it says here, if you finish the Guild Expedition level 5, you will be able to receive a new Forgotten Temple in time when the old one has degraded. So the way I interpret this is that because it lasts for 28 days, 4 weeks, it means that you will get enough fragments to build this every 4th week if you play Guild Expedition all the time. So basically what that means is that even though this is a limited building, if you play Guild Expedition level 5, you will be able to keep at least one of these, or you will be able to keep one of these constantly in your city, which I think is quite nice. So you can kind of look at it as a settlement main reward in that you only have one of them. But here, to keep it, you have to continually play Guild Expedition level 5. And I quite like this idea. I think this might be the first time I actually like the limited mechanic, because it has this limited mechanic, it allows this building to be really, really good. It gives 40% attack and defense for attacking army. That is 80 combined attack. It is only 3x4, so if we include roads, that is 13.5 tiles. So that is a combined 5.93 attack per tile. And these are all of these buildings, they don't depend on age. They give the same boost in every age. Now this one also gives 50% attack and defense for defending army, for your city defense, which might come in quite handy because that's what you will be using in the Guild Expedition level. So that's nice. And that's not all. In addition to that, it also gives a 20% Forge Points collection boost. You might remember the limited building they introduced, I believe it was in last year's summer event, Forge Fountain, something like that, I forget what it's called, which had, I believe it was a 10% Forge Point collection boost. Well, this one has a 20%, which is quite a lot actually. Now this means that all buildings in your city that produces 3 or more Forge Points will have an increased Forge Point production. Because if it is lower than that, if it has 2 for example, it will give 2.4 Forge Points, but that's rounded down to 2 again. So that will not be boosted. So every building that gives 3 or more Forge Points will be affected by this, so that depending on your city will be quite a big Forge Point collection boost. So overall, quite an insane building. But that's not the only insane building. And I guess you could look at this as the main building, but I kind of also would like to look at this as the main building. The Feathered Serpent, which is a new chain building. It has a main building, the Feathered Serpent statue, which has 3 levels. And then we have these 3 chain buildings. So let's look at them. The statue itself gives 15% attack and defense for attacking army. So both values, which means it gives a combined 30 attack. It is only 3x2. So that means it gives 4.29 attack per tile. So even this building is really, really crazy. And that's more than, for example, the Yggdrasil. So that only gives, I believe, this 3.3 or something like that attack per tile. So yeah, really, really crazy. The Serpent fins, which is probably the chain building that I think most will go for, is also quite insane. It gives 5% attack and defense. So all of these give both attack and defense. This for attacking army. That means it gives 10 combined 4 tiles. You don't need a road for this. You only need to connect it to the main building. So 2.5 combined attack per tile. Then we have the Serpent spikes here, which gives 50% attack and defense for defending army, which might be useful if, again, as you need defense to fight these fights. That is 7.5 combined city defense per tile. So again, that's also quite nice. And then Serpent statue or Serpent feathers, 20 random goods. I don't expect a lot of people to go for it, although it is quite a decent amount of goods for the size, so I guess it depends on your army or on your city, but this might be quite helpful. So we have a crazy main/limited building and also quite a crazy set here with quite high stats, so all of that looking really, really nice. In addition to that, you probably have seen it in my beta recaps. We have, well, it's not actually an update for the Sacred Skywatch and Ritual Flame. These are new buildings with the same style, same names, but they are not upgrades. So you cannot upgrade from a level 2 Sacred Skywatch or a level 2 Ritual Flame to these new levels. They are separate buildings. You can't upgrade from one to the other. So with that said, the Divine Skywatch here gives 4% attack and defense for attacking army, which means it gives just above 1 combined attack per tile. Nothing amazing, but not too bad either. It also gives 6 forge points, which is, well, that's 1 forge point per tile, almost, if you exclude the road, so that's quite a lot. Oh, speaking of forge points, I forgot to mention, the Serpent statue, 12 forge points. That is a crazy amount of forge points. It's a really, really good building. Anyways, moving on, the Greater Ritual Flame gives 7% attack and defense for defending army. That is 7 defense or city defense, combined city defense per tile. So yeah, really good. So if you do need a bit more city defense, if you want to fight instead of negotiate the encounters in this level, then this building as well as this chain building here look like really good options. And of course the Forgotten Temple here, really, really good option as well. All right, so that's the main building rewards. We also have 18 new avatars. Now these you can get from encounters in level 5, which is interesting. I imagine that the way it will work is that when you get it from an encounter, or once you have gotten all of them from encounters, they will no longer be available and you can only get the other rewards. But until then, they will probably be available at a given chance for the encounters. We'll have to see exactly how it works, but that's interesting. And I quite like the look of these 3, I think, the 3 first ones. The other ones, no, not really my style. I've said it before, but I'm generally not a big fan of the art style of the avatars, but that's just my personal opinion. Alright, we also have some achievements. We have Impressive Defender, which is for finishing Guild Expedition level 5. So there was some speculation that this one would be for defending, for attacking encounters, but no, it is for finishing. And this one, Impressive Penacho, which we thought would be for finishing the level, is actually for collecting avatars. So once you have collected all of these avatars here, you can display this at the full level. And then Impressive Architect, this one we did get correct. This one is to build a certain number of fortifications in the last level. All right, there is one more final thing I want to mention, and that is that there also will be some tweaks to the rewards in level 1 to 4. However, they are not quite ready yet, so when the Guild Expedition level 5 is released tomorrow, these updates will not be applied yet. So that's something we can expect probably next week, so I will definitely cover that either in a separate video or perhaps in a beta recap and when that time comes out, but yeah. Now, one thing, probably the main thing here, is that I thought there were some images here as well, but they're not here, I see. But yeah, after completing each one of the big encounters in the Guild Expedition levels 1 to 4, you will receive a fragment of a selection kit. And the selection kit here will depend on the Guild Expedition level. In level 1, you will get fragments of a selection kit that includes these. So instead of getting each of these separately, you will now get a selection kit with all of these grouped together. I am quite happy with that. In level 2, it's the same for Ritual Flame. And just to mention it again, the Ritual Flame upgrade here can only upgrade it to level 2. You cannot get it to this, which is level 3 in the asset name and code and so on. But again, it is a separate building. For level 3, it is Tribal Square and Sacred Skywatch. Again, you cannot upgrade the Sacred Skywatch to the Divine Skywatch, the new building. And then in level 4, we have Terrace Farm and Fountain of Youth. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see how this works. I think this change here is a good one. Now, there is one slight concern, and that is that they might be changing up the way you get the diamonds, or possibly even removing the possibility of getting diamonds from the Guild Expedition levels. So that's something that we will have to keep an eye on when this update comes out, because, well, the cynical side of me looks at this as the perfect opportunity to remove those diamonds from the Guild Expedition. Hopefully not, but that's, yeah, something we will have to see. We don't know anything about it yet. So yeah, we'll have to see. All right. And that's about it for this video. Hopefully you found this interesting. I definitely did. Learned a lot about these buildings, of course, with some crazy values right now. We will see if they survive. I suspect they will, especially the Forgotten Temple, even though it is really crazy in terms of the attack values. Because it is limited, you can only keep one of them in your city at the same time, unless you save them up and build multiples, but then you can only keep them for 1 month. The Serpent statue here, this one I could see being nerfed slightly, but again, perhaps if they are rare enough, perhaps if it takes long enough to get them, these values are fine. I don't know, but this one I could see getting nerfed, or it might not. And these two I think are quite alright. I think perhaps even this could be increased a bit. But yeah, 6 fort points, population coins, and that is quite good. Alright, that's all I want to talk about in this video. Again, I will be making a video either tomorrow or in the upcoming days of me actually playing the Guild Expedition level 5. I have an account on beta, so I will be able to test it out. I have very low city defense boosts on beta, so I am not sure how much, if at all, I'll be able to fight in the level, but I do have the goods at least to negotiate if I need to do that. So, looking forward to that. That video should come out quite soon. For now though, hope you found this interesting, and before I end, let me thank my Patreons for their support. I would like to thank Homestar, Lorden, Rocknobin, Kim Cayley, Rolf the 8th, PQ the Goat, Dan Sumnat, Chanti, Merrick B, Hugo Kant von Count, Truth the Generous, Susan Weiss, Rocco, Burton Embris, Spike from No Remorse, Plagus the Avenger, Henrik Derek Clairberg, Mattia, Opsy the Obsessed, Raph, Adaril, Mike, Wolfboy, Atomic, Ruth, Flavis Belisarius, Karen, and Dennis. Thanks a lot for your support, thanks for watching, take care, and I will see you in the future. Bye bye.